Putting the wings down, getting ready to go. Yep, as promised, this episode's going to show a couple of interesting items. First, we've got the GPS Autosteer. You can see I'm not steering. 2 thumbs up in this episode. We're also showing our Turbo Johnny X on an attachment that's way too big for a standard 1025R. It's pulling little Johnny X pretty hard. I gotta go slowly. You can see me shift into low range there. I had intended to already be in low range, but I kind of forgot. I decided to set up my driving lines a little bit of an angle so that you could see for sure that it's steering itself. Oh, and you might have noticed the drone shots already. That's right. Christy deserves a little congratulations there. She just got her drone license, so we're back in the air. We'll talk a lot about the mower in this episode and some about the GPS system. Sit back and enjoy. Let's get started. This combination is so loud without the exhaust pipe and with this crazy loud mower, 9 blades, 18,000 feet per minute, that I'm not even sure with our good mic system, good audio recording system, that we're able to record what I'm saying while I'm on the mower. So I'm going to take just a few minutes to tell you some of the thoughts that I've had while operating. The first thing is that even when stopped, it pulls this engine down to where the PTO is right at PTO speed, 540 RPM. Most every other attachment that I put on this tractor or any tractor, if you run the tractor full throttle, you'll get maybe 550, 560 PTO RPMs, maybe even 570, which is fine. And that's how I run the machine, always full throttle when I'm on a PTO attachment. If anything, the overlap is a little bit too much. And the reason that is because typically then when you put it under load, it will pull it down just a little bit to that 540, 550 mark, and you're fine with all that. In this case, just as soon as I start the mower, I go to full throttle, I get just a 540 RPM. So that shows that even being stopped, this is a full load on this tractor. Remember, this one has a turbo. We have recorded it to being about 32 PTO horsepower. And when we were recording that, we are pulling it down to about 540 or 530. It seems to have a lot more power right in there than it does right at full throttle, which is an interesting point. So this grass is pretty dry. Actually, we've had rain an inch or so yesterday, so it's going to get better. But we've had kind of drought conditions here for a while, so the grass is not growing rapidly. And because of that, we can pull this mower more easily than we could, say, in the heavy spring grass. I just don't think there's any way, even with the turbo, that we could handle this 12-foot mower early in the spring. In fact, the 3046R had a hard time with it when the grass was so heavy early on. But with this lighter grass, I was able to go about 3 miles per hour. I kept speeding it up a little bit, and I noticed that I could go about 3 miles an hour and still not get much below, say, 530 RPMs. That's kind of where it would hold constant. I was pretty impressed with that. It's amazing how much you can get done with this tractor and a big mower, even at 3 miles an hour. Now, get you a quick look at the GPS display here. You can see the guidance line right there in the middle. And at the top, it shows you how far we are off from that line. You can see that the temperature of the tractor ran hotter than normal, hotter than it typically runs with a standard 1025R without the turbo, but it did not overheat. The other day when we had it on the dyno, we were getting all the way up to the red. We quit at that point. We didn't want to push it too hard, but I'm not getting it that pushed in this yard mowing situation. I'm quite excited actually about how much power this machine is showing. You know, one thing I'm concerned about overall is the PTO when I'm applying this much power, but for a mower like this, it's not as severe of a concern as it would be on, say, a stump grinder. So you may not see this tractor on the 1P24 stump grinder for that reason. I'm just afraid that 32 PTO horsepower and the jerks that will happen when the stump grinder hits and has that rough kind of feeling, I'm just not sure that's going to be safe with this machine. But a mower Usually, even if it pulls down, gets a heavy load, it's going to be a gentle pull down. So it's not going to cause near as much damage as what you might cause to a PTO system as a stump grinder or some of the other just rougher attachments in general.
Is it difficult for you?
Hydraulic oil temperature was a little different story. It got all the way up to 190 in this first test. Remember, I have the most extreme Hydros Plus kit, plus I have the 4-valve Summit hydraulic kit. And my 4-valve kit is a little bit pre-release, and so I think I may have some 1/4-inch restrictions in those lines that the product versions don't have. In any case, I don't think you're going to have anything to worry about if you've got a stock pump and the Summit kit on the rear, or if you've got the I forget the names of them, but the mid-range Hydros Plus kit. Even with the Summit, I don't think you'll have any problem. But Hydros Plus wanted to put an extreme, he's got a name for it, maybe we'll just call it Tractor Time with Tim Edition pump on this tractor that gets 9 gallons per minute to the implement, 12 gallons or more through the whole system, and that is, that's double the entire flow of the system for stock. So we're asking too much of that. I'm going to keep experimenting with hoses and trying to get enough flow to go through it that it doesn't heat up so much. But for now, I'm going to actually unhook the Summit kit. Yeah, that means I won't be able to lift the mower deck to fold it back up until I hook it back up, but I don't need to do that just mowing here in the yard. Okay, I want to take some time to talk about a few new features we've added to this mower. Let's look at them closer. We've added, I believe, 3 new options to this mower. Wood sent us some more options for us to try. We've added a front roller kit. It actually looks a lot better. I don't know if it's gonna change anything, but if we'd happen to hit a hump right there in the middle of one of these decks, which is already only 4 feet wide, so this is belt and suspenders, as some of my friend would say. It's going to be triple insurance here against scalping. There's a front roller here. Another kit that we've got is 2 rear rollers. They're on the outside, so they follow right along here. You can see the bolts of them. We'll get you a closer look. One on each side of each deck. So all 3 decks have a front roller and 2 rear rollers, which is off the ground. I mean, I've got them adjusted so that they're 1 inch or more off the ground in standard mowing. They're only gonna really touch the ground if we're in an extreme situation. If you've looked closely, I've always used a rope to the tractor to release these safety locks for the wings. So when the wings are folded, these lock right into these safety locks. Well, now we've got a hydraulic option to do that. That requires another rear valve. And I had my neighbor Chris help me put this on. Yeah, it does the job, let's put it that way. It looks like a $10 solution to a 10-cent problem to me. I mean, it looks like way overkill, but I don't have to pull the rope anymore. Now, Woods told me that the typical customer for this hydraulic upgrade would be a cab tractor driver, right? So if you have a cab, you don't want to have that rope hanging down, have to open your rear window to pull the rope. So for that, the hydraulic option. I have no idea how much it costs. It looks expensive to me. Well, here's the results of our Autosteer. Looks pretty straight. In this pass just over here, there's a spot down there where for just a moment it lost the signal, or lost one of the signals. I don't know if it was the RTK signal, the GPS signal, but for just a moment it wobbled. I don't know if you can even hardly see it in the mower. I just saw it on the screen and felt the steering wheel kind of like, oh, I'm lost. And then about that quick, it caught back up and straightened itself up. Let me be clear. I'm not suggesting that you need an Autosteer system to mow your yard. I'm trying to show you how it works, help you learn about it, help you just kind of learn something and have some fun with me. This is not about marketing that Autosteer should be a part of everyone's lawn mowing business, and you know, how can anyone honestly mow their yard if they can't do straight lines like that, if they actually have to touch the steering wheel? No, that's not what we're saying. This is just for fun. And yet there are some of you that when you see this Autosteer system, you may not be mowing your yard like this, but you may say, you know what, I could use that. It really does make some things easier. I've set the width of the attachment to 11 foot 4 inches, and I believe I'm seeing an 8-inch overlap, at least a 6-inch overlap, so I probably could widen that just a little bit. I'm not going to do so on this cut because I'm afraid it'll mess up my prior cuts or whatever, but I may widen that before I try it again, if I ever try it again. And for sure, I'm not saying that you can pull a 12-foot Woods turf batwing with a 1025R. No, can't be done with any sort of a stock 1025R, and I'm really not sure that it should be done even with Johnny X here. I don't think they make like a 9-footer, but I think you could probably handle that. It's just something for us to play with and have some fun with. One of the next things we're going to try is pulling the mower up and over the hump. And on the 3046R, I actually noticed, of course I was running a little faster, running 6 miles an hour, 5.5 miles an hour. It pulled pretty hard going up that hump. So it'll be interesting if we can handle it up the hump at all. I expect that'll cause more challenge on the hydraulic oil temperature even without the Summit kit involved.
Before I get to that, I think I'll run across this end here by the road. Well, a couple swaths here, so I'll have a space to turn. The grass looks a little bit greener in this area. Now, right where the mower is, it makes sense. That's one of the lowest lying areas, so it should stay moist longer. But up in here, I'm a little surprised that it's green. I did overseed this area a year or two ago with maybe some more drought-tolerant seed, but I didn't see that impact on some of the rest of the yard, so I really don't have an excuse as to why this is green.
I think I could have drawn a curve along this end such that I wouldn't have to use my steering now, but hey, I'm an amateur at this.
Turns out our audio system was good enough to be able to record my voice even over the sound of the tractor and the mower. I had attached my mic to the boom mic, which is a part of the ISOtunes Link 2.0 system. ISOtunes added the boom mic option for exactly the same reason. They want to be able to pick up a voice even when the background noise is very loud. As always, get your ISOtunes at isotunes.com, and don't forget code TTWT for a 10% discount. I'm not so sure my hearing would survive without the ISOtunes on a project like this.
I'm finding that it kind of goes crazy on this hill. It doesn't know where it's supposed to go.
Maybe not Tim, but it looks like it's doing a perfect job of keeping that mower straight, even on the hillside.
I'm probably overstating it.
Yeah, I think you are. We didn't have much room to play here, just a couple of extra inches here, and it didn't skip on these hillsides. I thought that was pretty impressive. When I get to the end and ready to turn, I have to press the pause button, and then I can turn the wheel, do it manually from there. When I get lined back up and ready to go straight, I press the continue button. Occasionally I see that it overreacts a little bit. This is a case right here where it overreacts after I press the continue button. I found that if I start a little bit slower, that it has the time to correct itself without making it quite so crazy there. Thought maybe if I'd whip Johnny a little bit, he would pull a little harder, but I don't think it really helped.
Come on, Johnny.
Over on this side of the yard, you'll see some white clover. You can see the white tops there in the left. Well, that area didn't get sprayed. It got dark, so dark that I couldn't see when I was spraying at night early this spring. And I actually made one round around the pond. You can see that that was sprayed, but you can see the white clover out on the rest. I guess it proves that the chemical mix that I had worked really well on white clover. but it would have worked better if I'd have finished, right? You can also see horseweeds and smartweeds, etc. around our trees over there. Yeah, I needed to have gotten that done. When it gets really dry in the summer, you don't want to be spraying. So I'll have to wait till it's kind of wet and everything's growing good again, and I'll hit it this fall. You might also notice that it looks like the pond bank, or at least some of it, has been mowed quite recently. Yeah, that video's coming up. We're out of order here this time, but don't worry about it. We're going to show that episode with a brand new mower, something we've never shown before, and show just how it does mowing that pond bank. We have some areas on this side of the pond that have some erosion. You can see me driving into them now. This is a great test of that mower and how it can handle some really uneven terrain. Give it a watch here. I'll just be quiet here for a few minutes and let you watch, listen, and enjoy. I find mowing to be kind of, well, mesmerizing. You're able to configure these alerts in the system. Here it says speed alert. I don't remember what I had it configured to, but if you go faster or slower than the speed you set in the alert, it alerts. Guess that makes sense, right? We showed some more of the detailed components of this FJ Dynamics Autosteer system in a previous episode. You should go check that out if you're interested and kind of want to see how it was installed and, well, just some of the basic components to it. It's pretty fascinating. It was actually relatively easy install, so no issues there. And highly surprised that it fit this little tractor so nicely. We also have a playlist about Johnny X that shows all the different things we've installed on him. The turbo, the hydro pump, all of the additional features and options that we've put on just to make him a little more special than your average 1025R. Yep, we're calling him a 1038X at this point for extreme. And it's got 32 PTO horsepower, so we're just kind of guessing at the engine horsepower, saying it's 38. We think that's probably a little bit conservative, but yeah, we don't want people saying that we're exaggerating.
You can get this kit at store.fjdynamics.com. You can use coupon code TTWT. You get a little bit of a discount. I believe the current price is $6,800 for the system. Again, we're not trying to push the system on anybody. We're not trying to say, well, this is standard lawn mowing. We understand that. So comments that say it's too expensive, I get it. I mean, of course it's too expensive. It's more than a lot of people put in a lawnmower. So I understand that. But there's maybe a couple of you that think, hey, I could use this. I can tell you that it's very compact, very concealed. It wasn't that difficult to install. If you have any questions on the install, you can look at the prior video where we go through all of the components. There is one set of components we didn't go through, and that's the antennas on the roof, but they supplied all of that bracketing. All I did was use some existing bolts on top of the canopy, took them out, used their little brackets and bolted back in. It was trivial to do that. So I guess I didn't even see a need to go through that part of the system, part of the installation. Well, the hydraulic oil temperature is still running up about 190, even with the Summit kit taken out. Yeah, we're just pulling this tractor all we need to pull it. I suspect the Hydros Plus kit is contributing to that. Maybe the only cause of that, actually. I've got a little more to mow here. I'm going to let it cool a little bit, and then I'm gonna finish this up because, well, this is kind of fun. You know, Christy may talk me into getting a cheeseburger.
Yep.
That's not really hard. You don't have to twist my arm very hard for that. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on Tractor Time with Tim.
Just as it is written in Isaiah the prophet, "Behold, I am sending my messenger before you, who will prepare your way. The voice of one calling out in the wilderness, prepare the way of the Lord, make his paths straight."